Holding other factors constant, the High Court in Kampala shall on Monday issue its judgment of conviction or acquittal of Abubaker Kalungi, who is charged with the double murders of Buyende police boss, Assistant Supretendant of Police Muhammad Kirumira and his friend Resty Nalinya Mbabazi. The draw was gunned down by unknown assailants on the 8th of September 2018 in Bulenga, Wakiso district. Consequently, several people were arrested and the Directorate of Public Prosecution commenced prosecution of the case. Two men, Hamza Mwebe and Abubaker Kalungi, were arraigned before a magistrate's court in Wakiso and in March 2019 committed to the High Court's Criminal Division in Kampala to answer to charges of murder. The trial of their case, however, didn't start until late September 2022 when they appeared before High Court Judge Margaret Mutonyi. Prosecution alleged that Kalungi had been hired to trail Kirumira and inform Mwebe and Abubakar Katerega, who are said to have come riding on a motorcycle and killed the two victims, that after the fateful night, Kalungi slept at his mother's home in Mpigi. Police presented evidence including phone records of Kalungi and Katerega. A total of 15 witnesses, including police officers, a pathologist, eyewitnesses, and a local leader were presented by the prosecution. However, on 23 December 2022, the judge acquitted one of the suspects, Mwebe, after prosecution failed to prove why he had been arrested and what connection he had to the case. Mwebe's call records had not been studied to associate him with the case in any way, and the eyewitness didn't identify anyone who court could conclude was Mwebe. Upon acquittal, Mwebe's co-accused, Kalungi, remained as the only available suspect in custody to answer to the double murders. The judge said that Kalungi had to defend himself since there were claims including a self-convicting statement he had allegedly made. In February 2023, court commenced hearing the defense of the suspect and Kalungi took the witness stand telling court what transpired before and after his arrest. Kalungi, a carpenter, narrated how he was arrested while on a work trip in Bulisa in September 2018. He recollected when men unknown to him rounded them up as they sat in a group while in Bulisa. He says they grabbed one energetic-looking man asking if he was Abubaker Kalungi. Kalungi then owned up to his name and immediately he was shoved to the ground before his captors shot 2 bullets in the ground. They shouted, "Should we kill you?" "No," he pleaded with them, narrates Kalungi. He says from there he was captured, his phone and 200,000 Uganda shillings that he had on him taken and his head covered that he couldn't recognize anything. Kalungi says he was led to a place he later identified as the headquarters of the Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence, CMI. After they had removed the head covers, he was asked to look through the window and identify the far place he could see. It was Banda, he says. He was then asked if he could tell where he was, and when he responded that it's Simbuya, his captors confirmed it. When he was arrested, Kalungi says he met 2 men only identified as Captain Okumu and also Wolimbwa. The following days after arrest were characterized by beatings and torture. He narrates how he was tortured to a level of losing skin on his forehead, his fingers cut with razor blades, and his palms pierced with needles. He says during the torture he was asked to confess to the murder of Kirumira or incriminate someone else. He denied committing the crime and ever knowing Katerega, the said mastermind of the murders. But during captivity, he says, he had been tortured and ordered to sign several documents. These, he thinks, included a charge and caution statement that prosecution would later present before court, saying that he had confessed to the crimes. Kalungi's wife also testified before court, informing court that indeed on the day of the murders, his husband had gone to work in the neighborhood before retiring to their home in Indeje later that night. Defense hearing concluded in one day, and later court invited court assessors to give their opinion. In late March, court assessors asked court to acquit Kalungi of all charges, reasoning that prosecution had failed to place him at the scene of crime and that there was evidence before court that the charge and caution statement he is said to have executed could have been acquired through duress. The two assessors, Jacqueline Nafula and Jacqueline Nabufu, observed that the prosecution proved 3 of the 4 ingredients of murder, that is, that there was death, the death was unlawful, and that there was malice aforethought. They, however, observed that prosecution failed to prove the 4th ingredient of participation and that they couldn't place the accused person at the scene of crime. The assessors also observed that the charge and caution statement in which the accused person is said to have confessed to participating in the double murders was executed after torturing him. This conclusion was based on a police form 24 in which a doctor who examined Kalungi days after he had written a charge and caution statement concluded that he had visible bruises and healing wounds on his body. The assessors hence asked court to find the accused person innocent and acquit him of the charges of murder. In Uganda's criminal jurisprudence, an assessor-in-law is a person who is appointed to advise the judge. These are typically lay people selected in the locality and must be persons with a good reputation in their areas. However, the opinion of the assessors does not bind the judge in any way, and the judge may depart from it, giving his or her reasons why. So, on Monday, 24th April 2023, the judge, Margaret Mutonyi, shall issue her judgment. If acquitted, Kalungi will be a free man, free to go home unless arrested on other charges. But if convicted, he shall then await sentencing, which could be death, according to the Penal Code Act.